Yeah. Don't know if you are set in the right way. Looking for the light. I don't think we need the music. Switch off the music. Switch off the music. Shut off the music. Hata hiyo speaker kama inaongea unaweza zima. Switch iko hapo juu. Let me do it. Country music. Country music. It's country music. Should be having them in here, right? Professor. Sun in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio. Divine. Yeah, you know we're always waiting for that band to play. You're waiting for that band to play. And then after that band that's about to play, the Tango Jeshi la Wokovu band, then we can start. Okay, so we have the sun in Scorpio and we have the moon in Scorpio. So when the sun is in Scorpio, we are talking about the 8th house, or the sun being in your genital area or your dick and pussy area. Sun in Scorpio, or what you call the 8th house. Then we have the moon in Scorpio. What is the sun? The sun is your actions, what we see. I think we need to cover this light. Cynthia, this light is too much. Let me see. Do we cover? Yeah, let's cover this light. Fuck this light. Jagamutaka said, let there be light. That's better, Cynthia. We don't need all that light. We are the light. So, tungojea Jeshi la Wokovu kwanza ituchezea music. In my book. Let them play for us first. Ni lazima kwanza wanichezee bunch, unajua. Jeshi la Wokovu. Wait for that, for them to pass, and then we can jump right into it. Sijui whether it should be, well, that will be for the for everybody when they get there. Dogo, I need to get my magic and then we can start. So when the sun, which is your actions, how you appear, what we see. So when you see you, we see the sun. When you see me, you are seeing my sun. Okay? When I react to things, that is my moon. So your moon is your reactions. Your sun is your action. Moon is your reaction. How you react. How you react to stimuli outside of you. People, places, things, situations, circumstances, na vitu kama hizo. So we have the sun in Scorpio. So we already have the Scorpion King happening. Where uliona jana, the whole country was in darkness. Yesterday was 11/11, so it was the 11th day of the 11th month, year 7. Okay, so it was also the first new moon. So we had a new moon. So the moon just moved into Sagittarius. Okay? The moon just moved into Sagittarius. What is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is the 9th house. So Scorpio is the 8th house. Sagittarius is your thigh area. So now we have the moon, which was a new moon though. It was a new moon in Libra. Remember that. It was a new moon in Libra. But since it's a new moon, it will be a new moon in which sign now? New moon in Libra, but we are going into Sagittarius season, or the thigh, or the hips section. That will come hizo. Story for another day. Thank you. So now, wachana maneno ya stima. Today you are not going to learn about the stima. We are not even going to learn about why waliwazimia stima, because everything is intentional. So we have global rituals that happen around the world. Whether you know about them or you don't, it's your issue. When and this is just a tip, when men or mentalities or daughters of men started, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you call FGM. So when female genital mutilation started, because there's a lot of people who, the only reason I'm calling it a female genital mutilation is because of the stigma that is associated with it, and also why a lot of cultures have been wanting to move away from this without even knowing why. So I'm still going to call it an FGM, though that's not in actuality what it is. So we can say, instead of calling it an FGM, we can say the reason, and this is the main initiate. So when boys get circumcised, circumcised, I can touch on this because this is the time that we are doing it now. So to means to go around, circumgate or goes around. So every time you are going around something, you are revolving or rotating around that thing. So you are going around something. So you are taking a shortcut. So every time you are a circumference or circumventing something, now that energy means that you are taking a shortcut, or you are going around something, or you are taking a shorter route to the main aim. In this case, we are talking of getting circumcised. So before you say that circumcision started in the Bible, you have to understand the mindset or the mentalities that were the first people who started to practice these practices. To understand that these things were done for spiritual reasons. Okay, these things were done for spiritual reasons. There's a reason why they were done spiritually. So, and that's a story for another day. So if it was done for a reason, a shortcut to something, a shortcut to gaining some, what we are calling initiation, to be initiated into something new, you don't know what that thing is per se now. All you have is second or handed down knowledge of what circumcision means, because you don't know the original mind states that these people were for them to start practicing what you are calling circumcision. Now, when we talk of circumcision and we are saying that circumcision is being initiated into another stage, what examples do you have of being initiated into anything new? When you go to a new classroom, that's, you're being initiated. Unasikia mtu ameambiwa kuja hapa ni mono. Wewe kuja hapa. Toa kiatu, monorization in school. Unapewa duster. Unaambiwa pigie mamako simu. So unateswa shule like a mono, because most of you have never you never went through this. Most of you are lucky. You are never monolized as students. So you are given a duster, upigie mamako, unaambiwa ni monolization. When you go unauliza mamako, kwani umekonda hivyo? You are telling your mom, I was monolized. So you are being monolized because you are being initiated. Okay? You are being initiated into a new classroom. So they want to see how you are behaving now among these new peers. So these peers could be another classroom, another school, people that you are meeting from another location because you've gone to a new school, ama vitu kama hizo. Even all the way when you go to the army and they have to cut your hair na vitu kama hizo, ama jela, unasikia unakaribishwa, hata ukienda tuteme hiyo mate for the people who are watching me. Initiation. So when women used to be initiated into other levels of awareness in many cultures. What is happening is that we have a lot of handed down notions or knowledge of people who don't even know why these things are happening. So they don't even know why we are initiating women. Because our grandfathers used to do it. Our grandmothers used to do it. We found our people doing this. In the Bible, it was written that everyone has to be circumcised. But are you asking your question where this knowledge is coming from? Because for you to be really awake, you have to be able to take yourself into positions that these people are to make these conclusions. Okay? For example, so when we are talking of women initiation and FGM, the initial states of mind or the mentalities of the men who came up with this means that there's a position where we look at the son as the man or the masculine or the soul. When it comes to Solomon Temple, Sol being the sun, Mon being the moon, Solomon Temple, your sun and moon, your masculine and feminine. So when we look at the sun, we look at the sun like a man, a masculine, externalization. The sun is considered a he. What is a he? A light. Now, when we look at the moon, which is your first cloth, your Lilith, your Macabre, when you look at the moon is considered feminine, but the moon is nothing but a satellite, not a physical satellite, but rather what you can call a reflection. So we look at the earth, Mother Earth, Tiamat, Gaia, Earth, the planet, whatever you want to call it. We can call it Gaia, we can call it Mother Earth, we can call it Maito, it doesn't matter what you want to call it. So, Mother Earth, the planet. So, back in the days, they looked at the sun like the father. They looked at the earth, the planet that you are in, okay, Earth, Gaia, whatever you want to call it, like the mother. So they were considering that the son is having a relationship with the mother who would be the earth, the planet, Gaia, whatever you want to call your planet. So the son, being the man, they will look at the earth as the mother. Okay? As the mother. So if the son is getting initiated through circumcision, then they knew that the mother, the planet, the wife, also had to go through her own initiation. So the initiation of the man was circumcision, or going around something, or taking a shortcut. Now, for the people who are really into the knowledge of what you call body mutilations, the vitu kama hizo, all the way to scarring the body, and vitu kama hizo, they understand that you have an ethero. We can call it an ethero body energy around you. Some people call it the aura. You have an aura or an electromagnet radiation that shines around you. Okay? So now each energy point has a starting point where it has to start from. So circumcision was trying to cut that energy cord spiritually, okay? But they never got it right. Because in life you cannot take shortcuts. You need to go through these things. You need to learn. For example, if you are playing a video game, let's say you are playing Sonic the Hedgehog, or whichever video game you are playing, and shout out to all the gamers out there, all the gamers who are doing Pokemon and all these gamers, and also shout out to the subconscious community, each one. Shout out to Dulu the Pilot Man and all the esoteric people out there, people who are into real knowledge. So you know that when you're doing gaming, let's say you are a gamer, you know that when you're doing whichever game you're playing, then you need to go through all the levels to advance to the next stage. So there are some games, when you jump some situations in the games, let's say for example you're supposed to collect what you call body armor, weapons, health in video games. So if you bypass these things because you think you know the game too well, because for you are like, for example when I'm playing a video game with my daughter, we like playing the old what do we call this game? Our favorite game is why is the name escaping me now? Where you have to go through the arcade and the name escapes me. Anyway, you get the point. So in these games, when I'm playing with my daughter, sometimes she tells me, Awa, tutoke kwa hii nyumba, and she's even going to leave me. We remember we are a team, but she leaves me to fight these monsters alone because she doesn't want to keep fighting them. But I tell her, Nyambura, you have to finish these monsters because when you advance to the next stage, there are some skills, aka some combos. You know, when you're playing PlayStation, you have to hit forward, left stick, analog, do something, and maybe you have to finish an enemy. Okay? Those combos. If you don't practice these combos in these stages, then when you progress to the next stage, the game defeats you. That's the same logic in life. So, you need to go through lessons in life. You need to learn your lessons. You cannot escape your lessons. The reason you reincarnated back here in the physical form, in this place where there's pain, suffering and everything, is because this is preparing you, because at the end of the day, you are inside a body, a being, what you're calling your world. Most of you say we are inside God. But the main reason is because you are going to either incarnate or reincarnate, but you're incarnating because one day you're also going to be a planet. One day you're also going to be like the moon that you see. Okay? So that's your goal. So whether you want to spend another few thousand years here, it's on you. This is what happens. The people who are in charge of your religions, these are the people who were once in bodies like you, and they created mind states or worldviews where they influence, the same way you have influencers. They influence a lot of people to follow these practices. For example, shout out to the Christians, because Christianity has got nothing to do with the Bible. Christianity is a practice that involves going to church on a Sunday, but the Bible has no place of worship on a Sunday. The Bible says keep holy the Sabbath day holy for the Lord. You know that Constantine created the Sunday worship and everything, but you still go to church, so you are following Constantine, so he's your influencer. So Constantine is your influencer. Our light has fallen. Fuck that light. It's too much light. I don't like the light. See, spirits get trapped by the light. The only reason you came to this world is because like a butterfly, you're attracted to the light. Maybe you can switch off the light. Too much light. Don't go to the light. Don't go to the east. Don't face east. Face west. Maybe you can use this. Business netting conference. Shout out to other teachers and coaches out there. I don't even know whom he is. Let's cover this light. It's too much for me. It's too much light for me. Too much light for me. This light will not allow me to teach now. I'm not teaching you anything new. I'm just reminding you. Excuse my light. I think that's better. Is that better? No. Ama is my board reflecting? What is happening? Anyway, fuck the appearance. You take whatever you are learning. It's not about that. So where are we? So the same way that you need to go through each game to learn your lessons, you are in this world to learn your lesson. So the moment you want to be saved, ask yourself, what are you saying when you want to be saved? What is to save something? You only save something so that you can come and continue. When you say you are saving something, you are saving it so that you can come and continue. When you save a game, you are pausing the game so that when you come, you can continue. So even when you are using the words to be saved, you are saying that you don't want to go through the lessons, you want someone else to go through the lessons on your behalf. But that's not the point. So, when it comes to female initiation, okay, The reason that they were practicing what now you call female genital mutilation is because the women were also going through initiation. But now that initiation is coming from the sun, considered the masculine, the he, interacting with earth, or what you are calling Gaia, or the planet Earth. Lecture for another day. That's a whole lecture on women initiation and female genital mutilations, because that is what you call them today, and men circumcision. And I'm not saying that men should not be circumcised, because if you know what you're doing, because those were rituals that came with information. For example, a lot of you right now are going to go out and circumcise your boys. But what else are the boys going to get? Apart from them losing their foreskin, what else will they learn? What will the boys learn? Will the boys learn how to interact with their mother in a sexual ways? Are you going to teach your boys not to continue hugging their mothers? Because now, after cutting that cord, remember it was a cord. So circumcision involves taking that spiritual cord. You are cutting a cord. There's a way your aura, I know that electromagnetic force is going, and it is ending on that appendage, which is what you are calling your penis. So at the end, what you are calling a foreskin, anything that is fore is anything that is forward. Okay? So when you cut that foreskin, something happens physically to the boy and also spiritually as an initiation, but only if there is information that comes with that. If there is what you call some forbidden knowledge, or runye, or for you, because you are lost in the world, you can call it advice. Mnasemanga vijana akitaili anapeango advice, so you call it advice. But it went deeper than that. But that's not where we are. So, lecture for another day. These are some of the conversations even the people who are in charge of your boys' initiation should have, but they don't have, because they think that the more gray hair you are, or the more older you are, the more better you are. But you have seen that age proves people can still be dumb. You are led by dumb leaders because of age. You voted them because of their age, and they are the most dumbest people. Now, for example, most of you will say that Mother Earth is crying. Most of you will say that the earth is in pain. Most of you believe that the earth is suffering, that she has a life of her own. You call her Mother Earth. So most of you believe that earth is a living creature or organism. So if earth is a living creature or organism and you are getting everything from earth, that means you are within the earth, the chakra, what you are calling plasma, or the earth itself. It's your mother. So that means it's a being. I don't like this light at all. I don't know what I can do about this light. But I don't know if you can see me though. But you can move this camera. Fuck this camera. You can move it on this side. Or maybe you can wipe this camera. I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing, because maybe venye naona huku ni very different. Let me see if it's the camera. Or maybe it's my eyes. That's better. Kaeni hapo. Enough of this light. Or maybe it's my settings. Maybe, I don't know. So, for example, the people who face east, you know that in the spirit world, there's nothing like a direction. There's nothing like east, west, south, or north. That does not exist. This we created as men, mentalities. Because if you are to have a direction in the spiritual world, then that means you have a starting point, or where you can say from here, this is east, or you can say from here, this is west. So you know that we don't have a starting point. Meaning, in the spiritual mind, direction does not exist like that. So in the spiritual world, or what you can call, let me not use the word spiritual because most of you don't like those words. You are still lost in spookism. So in your mental world, let me use your mental world. I think you like the word mental, or what you call the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, or what you can call 4 being your thought, 5 being a feeling, and 6 being that thought and feeling being paid attention, what you are paying attention to. Paid attention, what you are paying attention, or what is being paid attention to, or what you can call the thought, the feeling, and the creature, or the baby, or the sex, the thought 4, number 4, the female, number 5, the container, and the 6. So in your 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, in your mind, there's nothing like a direction that this is east. So in your mental mind, or in your spiritual world, you can only talk of what you call distance and closeness. So, or you can talk about what you call contraction and expansion, or what you can call pulse or breath, or we can talk of what we call distance and closeness, contraction and expansion, light and is in weight, light as in weight, and density, dense as in accumulation. So in your mind, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, or in the spiritual world, we only have distance and closeness. That is why you can have a relationship. You're spending nights in bed with your woman or your man, but you're having a distant relationship. You can go for years without having sex, but you're sharing the same bed. Though you are together, you are very distant. You are sharing space in the house, you have children, but you are very distant. Yet someone can be miles away, but they're exchanging nudes. They are having sex chats. They are having live interactions. So the distance is there in what you are calling kilometers, but they are very close. So it's distance and closeness. There's nothing like kilometers in the spiritual world. The same way, it's always about a contraction or expansion, what you call dimness or brightness. So brightness will be the light. Dimness will be the darkness or the darker shade. So, when, for example, why was I talking about this? Oh, we are talking about facing the east. So you know, because I wanted first of you to get your mind about that, it's about distance and closeness, contraction, expansion, what you can call brightness and dimness. So now, you are going to understand how we came up now with the mathematical calculations of even creating dial, of even creating, you can take any seat, of even how we are creating now what you can call a direction. When you are facing east, when you are going to Kirinyaga, and you are facing east, you're only pointing to Mount Kenya because it's a point up. It's a mountain top, so it's up. Now, what do I mean it's up? The reason I was talking about distance as closeness. So the reason being, the more internal you go, remember we said it's internal, external. So external is externalizing, it's masculine. Internal is internalizing, it's feminine, it's within. So the more within you go inside yourself, the more you go to your mother, to your Gaia, the more you are going back to your spiritual world, the more you are going within, or what you can call down or inside you. So when you are externalizing and you are facing Kirinyaga, is because when you're externalizing, you are feeling like you are going up. So for you, you have no other option or reason but to think that is where God is, because it's external, outside, up, but up is within. Tokwajia wega. Iyo tiyo bugu ya umuthi, iyo ni bugu ya TikTok, ni kina ni kwendaga. There was a question mudu wako uriti wa kiria wa irua. Omana kiuria ki irua, kiitumaga andu marue, why do boys get circumcised and women have kama hizo. Hiyo nilikuwa naguzia. So, bayo. Iyo ni obuhutagia. No yo tiyo bugu ya kiria main yo umuthi. No bugu ya umuthi ya jia main tu kuingira. Mejo mwakorera yajiririe murariwo. Ni bugu. No tukwaria into depth about ginya irua ria atumia kuria reumire. Where it came from, why women started being initiated, and even why they decided this is the part to do it. No. Makiuhani ho mari hutagia arume kire yatumire gutwike marirua gikonde and what it means. We'll touch that, but that's not for everybody's here in your class. So I think we can end TikTok now. But before I end, let me just finish it for them. Tony go kuajiritie. Even how they came up with creating a watch, because you can wear a watch, but you're only supposed to wear a watch if you know how to use it. I called that. You don't need a watch to look at the time. You can tell what time it is. You don't need anyone to tell you it's daybreak. You know it's 6 a.m. The birds are waking up. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. You are waking up in the morning. You don't need a watch for that. Apart from nobody. So there is a reason even why we created the clock. Don't even call it a watch, but it's a watch because you are watching the clock to say how to move, to know the influence of the days. So only wear a watch if you know how to use it, and we are a good one, especially if you have Capricorn. CEO. Leo. Hata Leo anaweza vaa. Leo kama ako hapo avae saa ya gold. No, express your what you call your elements. Okay, express your elements. If you know your element, act in nature to your elements, because as above so below, you'll be in that magic. Or in that presence. So I think we can nida 11 mefika. 11:24. We can start before tufike cancer. Anza. Ajua ni masaa ya Gemini. Nikiogwaragia mono. Mwesaba 11:24. So we have another 30 minutes before we get to Noah's Ark. We can start at Noah's Ark, not to Ajay Cancer. Today the moon is in Scorpio. So today a lot of people will be reacting and responding in a very fixated way into their feelings. In their feelings. But remember again, it's a Sunday, day of externalizing. So a lot of people are going to externalize their feelings. Feelings by Gimono. They'll be deeply fixed. And the sun is also in Scorpio, remember. Everyone, the Scorpion king. They mutiragire riti maira muthenya wothe. Mwezi ni coincidence. Mweri 11, mweri wa 11, mwaka wa 7. Ama ilikuwa tu ni kitu tu. Ni Murkomen, nawaona sana Twitter na Facebook. Kelele tu, keyboard warrior. Hey, Kenya Power retire. Was it their fault that we had a power outage when we had the moon moving into a new sign? Because the moon was just going into we had a new moon in Libra, but ni kumaanisha sasa tumeingia mwezi mwingine. Si ndio? Sagittarius. But it may happen to kiwa Libra. And what is Libra? Cinema energy. Libra is that judicial scale justice system. You saw these people forcing the meteorological guy to declare an El Nino ndio akule pesa. Unajua hakuna El Nino? Hakuna El Nino. Those are normal rains. But what happens is that this year we have 13 months. Huu mwaka uko na 13 moons. Munaitanga intercalary year, coronary year. So everything is stretched. So even the short rains have to be stretched. Ikinyesha ni lazima inyeshe mingi. That's a cycle that happens every 7 years. Okay? It's known. It's dumb to assume at meteorological ati. It's known around the world, around the ages, kutoka wakati wa Egypt. When Pharaoh walikuwa naenda naambiwa, nimeona ng'ombe nono zinakula ng'ombe konde. We are in the 7th sabbatical year. Tuko 2023, which is year 7. When you add 22 plus 2 plus whatever, the 7, we are in the 7th year. So meaning, we are in the 7th last year of the 7 sabbatical years of the bad years. Na tumebakisha miezi 4. Tunajua mwaka haijaisha, nyinyi mnakimbiza according to the Gregorian calendar. When you wanafuatanga that stupid guy, but he was brilliant, Constantine. Basi unajua si Biblia ndio imekuambia narrow is the road that leads you to salvation. Wide is the road that leads you to lostness. So the whole world is lost in Constantine and the world's calendar. And you can use both. To be a Constantine calendar in the world, but no, as above so below, you are lunar people. You follow the moon. The moon ndio inakupeanga mwezi. Tunaulizanga tuko mwezi ngapi? Atulizangi jua. Tuko mwezi ngapi? AKA, which moon is this? This moon is in which sign? And when do you start the year? Spring, vernal equinox, the beginning, March, April, 19, unaona? So, when global rituals are happening, people have to understand. So instead of blaming stima imepotea, unafaa ujiulize, wait a minute, what is happening? Because this is not normal. Nikikirathi na bere. Okay? Because that is intentional. There are people who are doing things that need you to be in darkness because they are planting with the new moon. Every time you have a new moon, you have to do rituals of doing the old and starting the new. Baba zenyu walikuwa wanafagia nje, ulikuwa unakuta baba yako akifagia nje. Alikuwa anajua mzee. Alikuwa anajua out with the old energy, in with the new. When you are starting a new year, what do you do? Wao ni kwa ataku wa new jamu sokali mauti musine to mwaje mwaka mwero. But unajua nyinyi kwa apartment utajua aje na garbage yako unaweka kwa karatasi. Hata kifagio hauna. As a man, you don't even have a broom. Si uko na maid ndiye anafagianga kwako na mop. But unaona witches they are riding brooms. Na ukienda kwa mganga na kupea kifagio kwanza anakuuzia juu hauna yako. Lakini wewe when you're growing up unaona huka nyuna kahiga atia hataja niguo. Yeah. Anyway, itokuaje hau. I don't even need to continue this for these people. Wenye wanajisikia wakitaka kuja sogo kwa wanaweza kuja. Hiyo amepata ni enough. That's how you know who your real friends or your family are. That's a whole challenge that you can do. How to plant seeds, blockages and limitations, the meaning of amen, metaphysics, reason men cheat, and they are in hermit mode when they are alone. Kuna vitu mengi za kusoma leo. Sex demons, we can talk about sex demons today. You when you're having sex with people, what kind of energy? Mimi kuambia don't have sex. Have as much sex as you want if you have the right intention na unajua ile kitu unafanya. Okay? Sex magic. Jua ile kitu unafanya. Kwa hivyo kuna msichana nanga na ana mtu anaomoka ama si ukweli? Anafikirianga ameomoka kwani pusi yake ndio iko better kuliko wengine. Anakuanga ameangukia the right alignment bila yeye kujua. Lakini God ajui kama unajua kama ujui. At that particular time anakuwa ndio ameangukia sponsor. Wana amejengewa nyumba. Wewe kitu kiukie mwenye kwani wewe amuga na hiyo kie maraya. Maybe she's a dyke, she has a big pussy but everything worked for. Hiyo ni sex magic ameangukia. Tunaweza we can talk about Baal. We have so much things to cover today, so but the most important nataka tuongee about why you cannot explain God outside of you. The reason you cannot see God. If you want to tell someone who you really are, wewe ukitaka kuambia mtu akujue vizuri, you know you have to go within ndio ajue wewe ni nani. Do you mean kuona kila siku? I don't know you, I see you every day. I don't know her, I don't know you, I see you every day. But to really know you, I have to go within. You have to go within yourself for me to know you. So it is the same with God. You cannot see God outside of you because you're already inside that being. And even God cannot show you because also God is trying to be out of that being. Hiyo ndio itakuwa the main subject ya leo. Why God cannot be seen outside, external. Na kitu kama hiyo. Then from there we'll go to my old book. I saw another thing hapa tuko tumeguza. This for the old people. Ala mara gihoro wa mehirega kenda muyuru. Okay, ajua wanaongea about nini? The 9 spheres. Ziko hapa. Na watu sihutio mudhi. Because I want to go very fast today. Nataka leo tumalize by 3:30. Saa 10 I'll be out of here. So I'll go non-stop. So wenye watakuwa wamefika ndio wataanza. Ndio naona nina by time tufike Kansa. Ikifika Kansa, no time I start. I'm going non-stop. Mutakula tukisoma. Ikifika 3:30 I stop.
Before we meet how work. I don't mind. Wahuti hanini harire. Hidino mo warakite. Oro number 23 I.
Oh, number 23 for the king.
Ndera au thikiri ya. Nato akike.
So remember jana nilikuwa town. Sijaenda Nairobi. The whole of 2023 I've not been to town. Nilienda jana with a purpose. Nilikuwa Kenyatta Avenue, nikaenda kwa the 3 statues. Nazijua hizo za hao watu mnasemanga walikuwa wanapigania war. Directly opposite the 3 men who are fighting for your freedom. Sikuna kuanga na ile monolith. Sina kuanga hapo. Umeona? Directly the 3 men in Kenyatta Avenue. See, that is why you have that monolith. Yenye inakuanga inakaa hivi. Kama hujaonanga, and behind it is the Indian Bank. So we have Indian Bank. Then we have this monolith iko katikati. So inakuanga hivi. Then ukikuja hapa ndio unakuta the 3 wise men. Wale mnasema walipigania nchi yenu, jeshi 1946, whatever hiyo nonsense. So inakuanga ni hawa the 3 men hapo Kenyatta Avenue, hapo karibu na Simas. Hiyo club ilikuwa inaitwa Simas. A very good place for buying pussy back in the days. Sijui kama bado wasichana wanakuanga. Bwana wasichana very hot. So opposite ndio unakuta hii monolith. Hii ndio ilikuwa imefanya niende tao jana. I was checking something and I confirmed something. Then directly opposite this, then you have the Bank of India, a very short building. Hakuna building kubwa kuiliko. Unaona? I was in town yesterday because of the date. Ya 7. Hii kitu ilikuwa imesuguliwa. Wajua huwezi notice, but someone had washed it. Mbona dhayo? Watu walikuwa wameoshwa. Hamwezi jua. Walikuwa wameoshwa. Someone washed them at night. And the Bank of India pia ilikuwa imeoshwa. Jana ilikuwa tao. And this had to happen after the king came. Kwa sababu nilikwambia king alikuwa amekuja rituals zake. Hii mwaka ingeisha mimi kwenda tao, but lazima ningeenda jana. For a reason. So yesterday was a very beautiful day for me. Vitu zilikuwa tu zina happen and I'm like everything is happening like it's supposed to be happening. Right. Like it's supposed to be happening. So the king's visit. Nani anajua alikuja siku gani? The date. Let me get another pen. You can check on your phone the date. You can Google the king's visit. Anyway, that is not important. So during the king's visit, walitoa that flag
23.
Number 23, ndio. So tukianza 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. Peni zimeanza madharau, acha isimame hivyo. Ama
Nyingine moja hapo.
Naandika hiyo. At least that I think nitumie tu kikombe. Zisimame hapo ndani. So you know that one is individuality, or self, or singular, whatever you want to call one, in whichever language, doesn't matter. Hata ukienda upate mtu amjai ongea, amjai onana, You don't even talk to their language, maybe they talk whichever language. Ukimpatia kalamu moja umwambie hii ni nini, whichever language atatumia ita represent ni single, iko moja, si ndio? 2 inakuja ni to relate. Hiyo ni by default. When two people they have to relate. Hata ukienda umpatie ingine, umpee duster na kalamu na ajui kuongea, umpatie atazilate, ataanza kuangalia kama zinaingiana. So that is being relatable or diplomatic. Kila kitu iko na negative side, the yin yang to everything. The positive side to individuality is that you can be self, unajijua, you are better. The negative side ni ego. You feel like God, you think you are the only God here. But in the beginning, let us create man like one of us. But wataka kutuambia God is one. So shut the fuck up. That's the negative side of God, his ego. Or you, yourself. Then number 2, you are either relatable, diplomatic. The negative side of number 2, you are gullible. You can be used. Okay? If you are not relatable, you can be used. Number 3, hatuendi bali, tunafika tu kwa 23 juu. That is why tushasoma hizi. Number 3 is your environment, your surroundings. Your environment. Sindio? The negative side to number 3, you can be a know-it-all. You think you know everything. Tunafika hapo 23. We are not learning the whole thing. Number 4 ni thought. Number 5 ni feeling. Number 6, being paid attention to. Number 7, becoming the judge. Number 8, spending time in something that's infinity loop. Number 9 is attaining wisdom. Tuko hapa na haja na king. Hata hatuna haja na number 1. Kwani umenipatia permanent marker bro? Na umenipea permanent marker bro. I'm even lucky sijaandika sana, umenipea permanent marker. Kwani maneno ya king imekuwa permanent hivyo? We don't make blunders. Fuck the king. We are the kings. Asa hiyo ni permanent. Itaharibu masomo. Rudi hapa. So 2, or in case of the king, he came as a diplomat. Si alikuja on diplomatic plates. Number 3, your surroundings, your environment. I saw your stupid president ati anatembeza king. King ni alifanish State House. Sijui Ruto alikuwa anamuonyesha nini ati how we have the lions here, we have sijui the elephant. He is the when he alifanish hiyo akiwa a young man. Sijui kama hata Ruto alikuwa ametairi. People. So number 23, when you do geometry, becomes 5. Geometry is the value of addition. Number 5 tumesema ni having a feeling or a seal. This would be the 5-pointed star, or this would be your pyramid, or whatever you want to call it. So this is geometry, value of addition. When you go to numerology, the art of deduction, so 23 now when you're deducting, itakuwa on itself ni diplomat, environment, or being relatable to your environment. So the moment you saw that flag, number 23, numerology, art of deduction, they were being relatable to their surroundings. Nisa, but ukifanya geometry ni 5, having a feeling. Number 5 is a seal. Remember ukianza hapa. This is fire, your vision. Air, idea, let there be light. Fire, the vision. In a condense inakuwa maji. The feeling you have, the emotions. Then you have earth or soil or practicalizing or making that thing make sense or bringing it down or anchoring it down. And then you have your spirit here. Number 5, the either you having a feeling about your creation. Air. And God said there, that was an idea. God said, air, an idea, let there be. So what was there? An imagination, a fire. that fire, by default, you need, when you see a vision, it needs to create an emotion, because that vision gives you an emotion that becomes the water. Now that water now makes you understand the whole of that vision. So you are making it make sense. You are making it practical. That becomes earth, soil. Unaona? So number 5 is pia what creates the seal. Ukisikia the seal of the king, a stamp. Number 5. That is what ukikunja mkono, your fist, you can make decisions. So number 23 ilikuwa kwa t-shirt ya Michael Jordan. It's a witchcraft number. Good witchcraft if you know how to use it. Wewe ujuangi kwa nini watu wanatamanga nipatie t-shirt ya Jordan number 23, because your spirit understands 23 on a deeper level, because it is relating to your environment. So when Michael Jordan is dribbling the basketball, he is in that energy. Remember, he's not the best basketball player. You are chosen. They choose you based on your dates, based on your surrounding, based on whether you are their lost child. Then they give you endorsement, they give you a coach, then they shine all their cameras on you. So by default, when you are told you are the best, you become the best. Then they give you number 23, hata kwa football. The world is a stage. So Michael Jordan had to wear number 23 because he was relating to his surroundings. What was the surroundings? Basketball. So ukiona tu imetolewa mahali number 23 kwa ritual. Nani aliona hiyo triangle ilikuwa State House?
Yeah.
Exactly. So let me break it down for you here. Haraka haraka. Na ikifika 11 niambie tutoke TikTok tuingie cancer season, tuanze our class. It's not for their ears. But it's because it's a new moon. So, you saw the triangle, sindio? Everything is a triangle. A triangle has 3 degrees, 60 each. Each is 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. When you add them, they become 180 degrees, which is a line or a straight line or a timeline or a time of event or a plane of existence, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter, whichever language you use. Okay? So, when you have, this is called a trine. There's a Google triangle and what it means. So, ukiona number 23, and they brought out the triangle, or what you call a trine angle, you have to check on the specific date this was happening. Amuku notice date. Kulikuwa date ngapi? Venye alikuwa State House?
Date 1.
It was date 1. Where was the moon? Don't look at the date. Kulikuwa tarehe moja? Akiwa State House. Simuko na Google. Nini umeuliza, hata siku wataka kuongea na ya King. There's a lot of stuff here that was, it's not hidden.
Between 29 to 29:30 and date 1.
No, nataka ile siku alikuwa State House. And the day. 11 imefika?
No.
Bado?
12.
12 p.m.
11:44.
11:44. We have a few minutes to ingia cancer. Ingia cancer ndio tunaanza. Sasa bado tuko Gemini. So umeona date? It is not important, mta confirm. So they were using the number 23. You combine with this. This now goes deeper. Hii sasa sijui kama mko ready kuingia into the whole concept of the flag, the colors, the layout. Silikuwa imepoint wapi? Silikuwa imekaa hivi. But ilikuwa imepoint the pillars. Ama mku notice the pillars? The pillars of State House. So the pillars represent the masculine one and the other one is the feminine. You get? Now there's a reason why nani najua State House main door imepoint which direction. So there was a lot in it. To break down here, I think we should do like a presentation na hiyo video hapa. Tuweke video hapa na laptop na cable ya HDMI, tuache screen, tufanye tukistop. Tuende kwa YouTube here, the whole of that thing. Tuna stop, tunaangalia the alignment, the time also. Wenye kila kitu had been prepared. The time, the regalia, it was a whole ritual, story for another day. Na watu wengi hapa walikuwa wanaona ni their king. It's a shame how Africans are still licking white people's asses. You know, it's embarrassing. Unajita Pan-Africanism, alafu on that day na kuona ukipost maneno ya king. Najua ni very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Ilikuwa 31st.
Ulikuwa 31st? 31st of October. Aya. Look at the day. Angalia 31st October 2023, where was the moon? Because hiyo ndiko important. Tunaweza anza can start our class now. Tumalizia na kile gaki ya meherega keda. Keda moyuru the cosmos, we can finish.
The moon sign was Gemini.
Exactly. The moon was in Gemini. The moon was in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a day for communication. It was a day for relating. Okay, everything inakuanga imechaguliwa. So on that day, Gemini moon, everybody was it is an air sign. It's a mutable air sign. It's a day of communicating and it's mutable. Ni kuenda inaenda, ikiendanga imetoka fixed, tumetoka cardinal, tumepita fixed. It's mutable communication. So it's easy to communicate to you. So it's easy to lie to you on what is happening on the ground. Moon in Gemini. Hizo siku alikuwa amechagua the 4 days. Alikuwa huko for 4 days. Si lazima ingeingia square. Idea, problem, solution, conclusion. The idea for him to come, the problem, the solution, the conclusion. Lazima angeenda the 4 cycle. Lazima angeenda the 4. Remember tumeanza hapa na triangle. Idea, problem, solution. Now him becoming the judge, akienda kuobserve hapa katikati inakuwa 4 or thought or flash. Sawa. Tukoji ya kile. Exactly 12. Let me end this live. Hata isha end. Let's end this live.